Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Baggy, FTNet, Soul Trader, Comfortably Crumbs, Robert, Fletch, Paul, Mumo, Pleiades. How are we all doing? And Mumble. Hello together. It's Wednesday afternoon. We have normally got unemployment claims coming out today, but we haven't because it was a bank holiday. So today, basically this afternoon, we've had the monetary policy report hearings from the pound. Nothing particularly exciting, as you can see there. Nothing red on the news feed, so there's nothing came out in that. As I said this morning, market tends to know about that and what's going to happen there, so there's no real impact on it. If you look at the pound, there's not. There is some movement on the pound, but not anything really related to that news, which has just come through in the last sort of half an hour. So we were already popping on the pound CAD and other pound pairs basically ahead of that. So the news this afternoon is Jolts at 3 o'clock. Jolts is a little bit hit and miss. It doesn't tend to move the market massively, although it does sometimes. So it's one of those news items that you just have to watch and see what happens, basically. Afternoon, Marco, Andrew, how are we all doing? Right, so markets are open. This morning, basically, as you can see, was a bit hit and miss on the DAX. Did make a profit this morning, but not amazing. So the DAX today, we had a break to the downside, which hit target. Then the trailing stop triggered on the second part of it. It then pushed up into the ORB high, triggered a long, which stopped out just before it went to target. Such an unlucky stop out. So that was the difference between a very big profit today and a small profit. It was literally that tiny little movement there. So it came back in to the propulsion gap, basically, and bounced out propulsion. So yeah, nothing much we can do with that. So ranges at the moment, the Dow, we are long on the ORB there. NASDAQ, we are not triggered yet. Inside bar on the 5 minutes. Gold, my new friend, short on gold at the moment. So this basically account that you're looking at here, really high on the screen for some reason. That over. So this account basically here is I'm just logged into the account, but the EA is running on my VPS. So at the moment you can't see the pending lines because they're running on the VPS, but the pending lines will obviously be down here somewhere. Pending lines, the partial close lines. So you can't see those on here, but they're running on my VPS, so we can watch the opening breakout go. I'm not trading the S&P anymore. So basically, due to correlation, I've decided to take the S&P out of the portfolio and replace it with gold because gold is not correlated with the other indices. So we got a long break on the Dow, we got a short break on the NASDAQ, and we've got a short break on gold. So we've got three uncorrelated instruments, although the NASDAQ and the Dow are a little bit correlated. But obviously adding gold in there just gives us that extra little deviation on the pairs. Basically, S&P and the NASDAQ are far too correlated. So we'll wait until 3 o'clock. We've got 20 minutes until that news hits, and then we'll see what happens with the Jolts this afternoon. The main news events we've got are starting tomorrow. So we've got the Swiss CPI tomorrow morning. That's going to be a fairly big mover potentially. We are forecasting zero, as you can see when it loads. The previous that we had, I must remove that because that shows the most recent. We don't want that in there. So as you can see, we had a bullish deviation last time round. So we were forecasting a negative 0.2 off of the positive 0.2. We actually got a 0, which was obviously bullish because it was higher than the forecast. We're forecasting a 0 this time round, which is the same as that. So there is potential for a big move tomorrow morning on the Swiss franc. So just watch that if you've got any Swiss exposure on. We've got non-farm employment after that. And then we've got the unemployment claims as well. So these are a good indication as to which way non-farm payroll and unemployment rate are going to go tomorrow. So if these come out as unemployment has gone up and employment change has gone down, you would expect tomorrow to see the unemployment rate climbing. Whether or not this is going to make any difference on Friday, we'll have to wait and see, because obviously we are fixated on dropping that dollar interest rate now. I don't think the Fed's going to be able to do anything with it different. So we should be seeing that drop on the interest rates. This is the main driver at the moment for interest rates. I don't think there's anything this could do out of norms that will make basically them change their mind on that interest rate decision. So we should be looking bearish US dollar in the short term at least. Right, 10-minute range is in. So we've failed breakout short on the NASDAQ, failed breakout long on the Dow, and gold kind of broke out, but not really. So we'll see where we go. A little bit whippy. We might sit in rotation and wait around for that news event to come out at 3 o'clock, but we'll see what the market makes of it. Right, FX wise, I'm flat on my portfolio now. I'm in the process of moving all of my capital over into an MT5 account with Robo. So this MT4 account I'm shutting down basically, but I've managed to close everything out apart from this Aussie New Zealand, which is in 10% of drawdown now. So I'm basically looking to do an aggressive drawdown control. I covered this in this morning's members stream, but I'm looking to do an aggressive drawdown control here. So we are up at the high from July. That is the high from October. And then we've got the high there from January this year. So this is last July, October, and January. So this is your upside resistance. This is basically where we've got to in the last couple of years, and we haven't managed to make any progress. So I'm looking for a reaction in this area. So my focus today, we are there now, is to get an aggressive drawdown control position on here. As you can see, I've got aggressive shorts. So I'm going to get in basically with a decent size up here with the aim to move this average up into the higher end of this propulsion gap. So if this does bounce here and we get stuck in a range between propulsion and the upside resistance, I'll be able to get out somewhere in there, hopefully within the next week. But I've got plenty of margin in the account. So I can take all the money out of this. I've only got to leave about 10K in here. So I'm quite happy to do that. I mean, if I got to 10K in drawdown, I would want to be shutting it anyway. So I'm probably going to just move the capital over and start the MT5 account this week. So, but yeah, that's my only position left, unfortunately, in here. I just can't get this shut. ADRs today, we've got quite a few. Aussie CAD. We've got an ADR hit to the upside. Obviously, this morning's news was bullish for the Australian dollar. GDP came out at 0.6 on a forecast of 0.5. So obviously, we've had another bull move on the Aussie. So we've got 150 ADR on the Aussie dollar CAD. Aussie dollar Swiss also is an ADR hit to the upside. You can look at these on lower time frames and wait for reversal alerts to get in short. So, I mean, that's your reversal alert at the moment out of ADR. Aussie dollar yen also has hit ADR with 125 ADR on that one. Aussie US as well is up at the higher end. Just touched ADR there. So its support rectangle is holding at the moment. This propulsion gap is holding. So if we get a reversal alert into there, looking at that coming down. So all the Aussies, obviously bear in mind the reason these have gone long is because of a bullish news event that is a better GDP than forecast. So we might see a little bit of a sustained run in that Aussie, or at least resistance where we're just going to sit around up at the highs and not actually pull back. So don't overexpose yourself on those. Pound CAD, we've also got ADRs on these as well. Pound's had a really good day today. So Pound CAD, you're just about to get a reversal alert on that one there. Look, literally in the next minute. That's depending on what happens with this candle here. Obviously, that is going to alert a short. That's also yesterday's high. No, it's not. It's the previous day's low, sorry. So that is the low from Monday. So that is where we rallied from Monday. So we're sitting at that at the moment. Obviously, big, strong sell-off. Potential for it to get up into there, possibly, but we'll see. But yeah, that's a nice ADR reversal, potentially short on the pound CAD. Pound Swiss, we've also got. Let's just see if that one alerts while I'm on. Yeah, definitely going to get an alert on that. 15 seconds. So that's going to give you a reversal alert. And that is at 125 ADR as well. So high probability of that stalling out, at least up there, if not pulling back. There we go. So there's your reversal alert. Pound Swiss, pound yen. Pound Swiss, we've just had an ADR reversal. Reversal alert, and on the pound yen. So they're all starting to pull now. So the US session putting back on the pound. So these potentially might be good entry points if you want to wait. Look for a push back up into there and then retest. So it gives you that nice M pattern reversal. And pound US dollar. Reversal alert's just gone on that. So all these pounds basically have all given you signals for shorts. Just pop back over onto the Aussie New Zealand. So I'm just going to leave that running there because I want to get this aggressive position on. I haven't got this running on the VPS anymore. So I want to get that short on the 15-minute time frame as soon as we get some kind of reversal. Let me just see what signals I've got set up. And do I want to move an average entry? Do I want to move an average entry? Might as well just take the reversal alert, I think, on that. Okay, so again, short when we get the reversal alert there. Actually, I don't want to miss that, so I am going to put the MA entry on as well. Just don't want to miss it. I want to get the aggressive on. We're right up at exactly where I think we're going to turn, so put that on as well. So just in case the reversal alert. Basically, if we sit and accumulate up here like this, the moving average is going to catch up with price, and I want to get in. If the reversal alert actually triggers like that below that line, it's not going to take the entry. So I'm just, in case we get an accumulation at this area, because this is where we're going to start finding some sellers coming in, I'll let the MA trigger the entry. It's a weaker signal, but obviously it's more likely to happen. Right, so stopped out on the long on the Dow. Short is still in on the NASDAQ. Total sideways at the moment. Short gold still. This is probably sitting around until 3 o'clock news. Looks to me like they may be clearing the decks on the Dow beforehand, but we'll see. Afternoon, Soul Trader, ORB. What minimum range and what max range are you using? 0.15 and 0.4. So it's up to you what you want to use, but 0.2 is the default. 0.4 is the default for maximum. That's fine to use. Basically, in my testing, in my permutation testing, doesn't matter what you do with that really. Too much. As long, I mean, it's unusual to have a candlestick that is more than 40% of ADR. If it's more than 40% of ADR, it doesn't matter if it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever. Yeah, if it's more than 40% of ADR, something's gone wrong at the open and it's a huge move. So that you can kind of stick as default. That one, in my testing, 0.2 was the optimal. Doesn't mean it's the best. It means it was the optimal in back testing. Back testing is not the future. So, but 0.15, so 15% of ADR there in that space, basically will trigger a few more entries. So what I found was with the 0.2, although that is kind of optimal, this gives you a few more trades. So I decided to go with 0.15. 0.15 also in all the permutation testing gives all positive results. So does 0.2. So it doesn't matter which you use. They both work. And to be honest, a lot of the time, it's not a lot of difference in it. If you set it to 0.15 and it opens at 0.23, it doesn't matter which you use. They're both going to trigger. So this one is just a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more aggressive. But equally, sometimes it will get in on a 0.15, stop me out, go long, stop me out, and 0.2 would have been there. So it would never have triggered on 0.2. In that case, you should have used 0.2 that day. But if we knew which one to use, we'd use it, wouldn't we? Unfortunately, we can't tell the future. So short on the Dow is underway. Nasdaq's totally stuck. So we're closing inside range on that. Can't do anything. We've got 10 minutes. Right. Afternoon, Steve. How are we doing? So anybody got anything they want to look at on the FX side of things this afternoon? Shout if you have. There's a lot of AWRs already hit as well this week. Obviously, it's only Wednesday and we've got some very big movement. Pound US dollar, for example, we are 150% of the average weekly range already, mainly because of this huge move we had yesterday. So obviously, yes, Monday was bank holiday in the US. Yesterday, we had double the volume coming through, and obviously we had some very big moves. So we've done 150 of weekly range already. So if you got in on any extension yesterday, you had lots of signals to get in long yesterday, hourly signaling long. So any of these that you got into yesterday on ADR, AWR, RSI extensions, they're all playing out. But just watch when we get into this propulsion, because we have also broken down a double weekly low yesterday. We rejected propulsion again today. So we're fighting between these levels at the moment. But we are expecting weakness on the dollar. So that would be the expected direction. Although there's not a lot of strength in the pound, if the dollar is going to weaken, this to me looks like a false move to the downside, which they're going to pump. But we'll see. We've got lots of news coming out. If that news that comes in tomorrow and Friday is very favorable for the US, it will put the brakes on that US drop until we get those interest rate changes. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with the news tomorrow. Stopped out on the NASDAQ short. We've got 8 minutes to the news. So I covered in the members stream this morning. Obviously, I'm changing what I do with live streams. I'm still going to do YouTube live streams, but I'm not going to do them as often. I'm going to be doing a lot more work with members streams. So I'm going to focus a lot more on what I'm doing in the members sessions, basically. So I've got this new members area that I'm building out at the moment, which has got dashboards and analysis tools, all sorts of stuff in it. And basically, this is where I'm going to be focusing my time with members. It's almost ready. In fact, it's pretty much ready. I just found a bug this morning. Oh, no, it's working now. It's working now, typical. Sorry, let me just quickly check something. It's bloody working now. So yeah, I've been building this out obviously for the last couple of weeks. So what I'm going to be doing is we will still be doing these live streams, but the focus of my time is going to be on teaching and trading with people in the members stream. So I'm going to be covering the position trading bootcamp from start to finish again. Lovely stop out. Thank you very much, NASDAQ. Going to be covering ORB in a lot more detail, the different variations of ORB, the permutations of ORB that you can trade, the instruments you can trade. We're going to be looking at correlation analysis. We're going to be looking at arbitrage trading, all sorts of stuff. So basically coming up with a portfolio, if you like, or a multitude of approaches to trading for different time frames. Prop. Oh my God, I haven't got a prop account open. Hang on a second. One second. Miles away. Right, I'm going to pick the NASDAQ because we're in a range. So yeah, trading prop. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot more focused on members. So if you want to become a member, you can do. I'll let you know all about that as and when. But I'm going to be stopping the members' streams in YouTube, and we're going to be using either Zoom or Discord or some other platform, which is two-way communication, basically. So I want a smaller group of people that I can actually trade with and execute the strategies, discuss strategies, answer questions live. So it's going to be sort of more of a classroom environment, if you like, which I can't deliver on YouTube. So that's the way it's going to be going. What do I want to take on this? I'm going to stick with a 5 ORB, I think. Break of that high there. That'll do. I'm already up today from this morning's session, $600. So I don't want to put too much risk on this afternoon. Dow, nice clean break. One, two, three, four, five, six. So the next trade on the NASDAQ for ORB is going to be the 6-bar range break, which will be closing in 4 minutes. So I'll be taking a break of wherever we are with this. This is going to be the 30-minute range, your TPO. Take a break of that. Gold was still holding short, but not really going anywhere. Afternoon, it's time. Will the new position trading bootcamp be posted on YouTube? No, for members only. It's all updated. Everything's changed, basically. So I need to do a new version of it. I'm using different tools. I'm looking at the market in a different way. It's all different. We got Trump now. It's all different. You got to keep your correlation is one of the main things. So this part of the website, you can do a correlation analysis, and you can basically, if I just use all Forex pairs, for example, and we'll go with correlation 50. So basically, this is going to find all instruments that are less than 50% correlated and create a basket for us. So rather than having the two pair rule, if you like, which is what I used to do, this system will basically select a basket of instruments you can trade as a portfolio. So for example, here, basket 1, we can trade those 7 instruments and they are only correlated by 22%. Meaning basically they will only move in the same direction roughly 22% of the time. So 80% of the time, you've got these things all moving in different directions. So if something takes off in one direction, it's not going to affect you. So the problem is obviously if you go and overexpose yourself on the US dollar goes into a 6-week squeeze and you've got 3 positions on the dollar, that lot's all going to go into a squeeze for 3 weeks and you can't do anything with it. Idea of portfolio diversification, obviously, is making sure that you are not overexposed to any individual instruments that are correlated together. And this correlation matrix will help you with that. You can also create your own basket of positions. So say, for example, you wanted to only trade, or rather you say you wanted to start trading the pound US dollar. So the pound US dollar is definitely one that I want. I've got to have the pound US dollar because I love it. I'm brilliant at it. Yeah, so you have that in your basket. It then reduces the number of instruments you can trade. So the pound US dollar is less than 50% correlated with these instruments. So I would then want to trade, say, I want some Swiss exposure. So I'll go with the CAD Swiss. Now it's dropped it down to 12 instruments. So I'll go with the pound odd, pound Swiss, pound yen, pound New Zealand. So I'll go with the pound New Zealand. Now I can only choose from these 9. Aussie yen gives me my yen exposure. I've got no euro exposure in there at the moment. I've got lots of pound exposure, so I'll go with euro Swiss. And New Zealand CAD, I'll add that one in there, and then I could go euro pound. Yep, so there's 7 symbols I can trade. The correlation on those is 27%. 73% of the time, these things are all going to move in different directions. So it just means your exposure's light. So all this is the sort of stuff that we're going to do in the new position trading bootcamp. It's just having to change the way that you work depending on what the market's doing. We're going to be looking specifically at arbitrage trading as well, which is something I've had a lot of success with recently. Retail sentiment, obviously trading against sentiment. Currency strength systems I've got in here. We've got complete fundamental analysis system in here, where you can look at all the recent news events for individual symbols. So you can tell at a glance how strong or how weak an individual currency is when it loads. There's a load of data it's loading at the moment. I've got to speed this up. This is too slow. So you can tell instantly, is the Aussie bullish or bearish over the most recent news events it's had? Bullish, very bullish, not bearish. Nothing very bullish. So I would read into that we're more bullish than bearish on the Aussie, especially most recently. So Swiss franc, it's not me, I'm not on news on that. Euro, bullish, no impact, bearish. You can see all the previous results for everything. I'm going to have a button here so you can actually plot each news event on the chart as well, so you can analyze what happened in news. Again, news trading is something I'm going to be doing a lot more of. Trading post news. So we've got this news event coming up now, which is hitting and destroying my day. There we go. There's that 6-bar range. So that's the 6-bar range we're going to trade. I've already triggered the short on that. I need to put another sell in. There's your 6-bar range short. Okay, so yeah, news trading obviously is to do with post news. So wait for the news event to come and then trade the range break after the news. Wait for the market to absorb the news and then make its move. So all of these tools that I've built in here are designed to give you all the information you need to make an informed decision. And this is basically what I'll be teaching around all of the stuff in here. And you've got trading metrics here, so you can obviously plot your trades, and it will give you analysis of your trades, shows you individual trades. There's analysis of symbols for you, so you can instantly identify what's good and what's bad in your portfolio. Breakdown analysis over time. It will give AI insights as well. So I've got this linked into ChatGPT. So if you do an AI analysis, it will basically look at your account, analyze all of your trades for you, and it will go through and find all the information that will help you make better decisions on what you've been doing. So it will identify whether you're stupid because you continuously trade gold, you continuously lose on it, your strike rate is terrible, your average loss is way bigger than your average profit. This will tell you that, yeah? So you don't have to worry about doing this all yourself. AI analysis generated successfully. No, it hasn't. This is in development, this bit. Oh, it did work. So yeah, it gives you your strengths and your weaknesses. It analyzes every single instrument you trade, tells you where your weaknesses, strengths and opportunities are in everything that you do, basically. So it just gives you, it's kind of like a personal coach. It basically looks at your trades and goes, well, you're an idiot because you keep doing this. And you can go, yeah, you're right. And you'll stop doing it. So it's all designed to do that. We got an EA builder and everything in there as well, but I'll cover that another day. Gold's coming up to stop out as well. Whippy session so far. Basket idea is great. Yeah. It's going to be the way forward. Are you able to cross-reference that with suitable swap costs? To do anything. I haven't thought about doing that now. What's your downside target on gold? Down at the moment because it's going up. It's 3R, so whatever that is, multiplied by 3, somewhere around here. That's the obvious spot for a bounce play. So if we get down to there, potentially might get a bounce. Okay, long NASDAQ. What's your day? I want to answer that. Afternoon, Virginia. How are we doing? What's my downside target on gold? I've never seen you trade it before. It's exactly the same as everything else. It's an ORB. So basically, gold moves at the open. So obviously, commodities, oil tends to move about 2 o'clock actually, but commodities also move at the open because they're futures contracts. So you can actually trade gold as an ORB because it moves, as you can see, the same. It has the same move at the open as indices. It varies from day to day as to how explosive that move is. Some days it's massively explosive, other days it's not. And it tends to be related to what the US dollar is doing on the day. Obviously, it's a US dollar cross. So what I've found is it works really well with ORB, but you have to kind of keep an eye on it. I'm still doing testing as to what optimal settings are for gold, if you can do optimal settings. But I mean, it's got an edge in the fact that we know it's going to move at the open. So I get the feeling it'll be a little bit like the NASDAQ in that you want to keep slightly tighter stops on it and you want to keep slightly smaller targets on it because it moves a little bit faster. And also it stops dead very quick and reverses very quick as well. So, but it's on trial as such. Good afternoon, David. Goat, long time no see. I know, I've been away. Well, I haven't been away, I've just been at home. I've just had time off. Doing stuff. Did I see you make enhancements to the website? Yeah, so this is a new members area that I'm working on at the moment. It's not finished. It's in development. But it's almost developed. It's almost there. Wow, there's no RSIs today, is there? So yeah, it's in development. But just basically loads of really cool tools that we need basically on a day-to-day basis. So I just need to quickly see what this Aussie New Zealand's up to. Missed the reversal. I'm going to have to hit the button. Oh, that's the wrong lot size. It's because it's not above the line. I'm just putting four trades on, just to simulate me putting on an aggressive drawdown control position. So I'm looking basically for this area to hold. That is my line in the sand for getting out. See how we get on there. And so that's brought my average up. Now, as you can see, so my average was down here. So that aggressive drawdown control positions moved my average up within 200% of ADR. So I can now get out on a retest of propulsion, which is, if we're going to stay range bound up here, we're going to get stuck between the sellers from the last 3 highs and this area here. It gives me an exit. So, and obviously if this moves down, hopefully it will, I'll then get all those to break even as fast as I can. Cover them. Okay, gold's breaking down again. Dow, still no... TP on Dow. Toying with the idea of shutting this. It's looking pretty bullish down there. So this is your Globex low today. We're holding the Globex low, big rejection. I want to see this close below that low. If we can close below that low, we're probably going to come back down and retest previous day's low. We closed right on the Globex low there. So I'll give it this candle and see what happens, but that looks like a rejection to me. Nasdaq's also breaking long, so the market's fairly bullish. Gold's holding up as well. I'm just going to close this Dow out completely. I'm not, because I've got trading turned off, because I don't want this to take trades. I'm just going to manually close this. So out the Dow just gets me back to break even for the day, and we'll see how these two fare. I might regret that, but I don't like the way this is holding the Globex lows. Very, very strong rejection down there. And we're breaking long on the Nasdaq as well. So obviously, although these two instruments are not heavily correlated, they are still correlated. So if you look at those two together, Dow and the Nasdaq, they are correlated 75% of the time on the hourly, daily 65. So they do move differently 35% of the time, which means that they do move together as well the vast majority of the time. So although they are less correlated than something like the S&P, which is massively correlated, 93%, they do tend to go in different directions, mainly because obviously the tech markets move slightly differently. We're rejecting the highs on the Nasdaq as well. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? It's going to be one of those days where I make the wrong decision here and the wrong decision there. And I'm going to rely on gold, basically. Who'd have thought I'd rely on gold for anything? Will your gold ORB be fixed at 5 minutes? No, it's exactly the same. It's the ORB strategy. It's dynamic. It works on the ranges. Afternoon, Ryan. How are we doing? I've got my blind down. I'm just looking under my blind because it's been hacking down with rain, and now we've got sun glaring in. The weather in the UK at the moment is like, I don't know. It literally comes down in buckets and floods, and then you've got a rainbow and bright sunshine within 5 minutes. Completely schizophrenic. Rejecting on the Nasdaq, and now the Dow's breaking down, so that was the wrong decision. Should have held the Dow and couldn't do anything with that one, but so I'm going to stop out second time. I already have stopped out on that. So I'm just literally going to hit short there. So flipping short on Nasdaq. I'm doing this on this prop account because obviously it's this is not the ORB strategy I'm trading. I'm just trading basically on that. So that is your ORB short that's going to trigger on the 6 bar. Should have held that. That was the wrong call today. Gold potentially will break down as well. Thought you didn't like MT5? I've moved you over to MT5. I've made the move. Basically, I'm not programming for MT4 anymore. I'm fed up trying to program everything twice. I've got to pick one. I covered it on Monday, basically, and I did a massive post in Discord about it. Basically, the figures I'm seeing now for people buying indicators and EAs is roughly 50-50 now, MT5, MT4. It's the first year we've had since MT5 was launched a decade ago. It's the first year we've had where the sales figures for MT5 and MT4 have equalized. It's always been 70-80% of people buy for MT4 because MT4 is always been seen as being better, more stable, faster, just better, basically. MT5 now, the uptake on MT5 is increasing because some brokers are dropping MT4. Although MetaQuotes have said they're not going to develop for MT4 anymore, they are still supporting and updating it for bug fixes and things. They can't drop it because half of their revenue is on MT4. So it's like saying to Apple, is it okay if you got the iPad and the iPhone? Can you just dump the iPhone and we'll keep the iPad, or vice versa? Not a hope, but they're not going to do that because it just removes half their revenue. Same with MetaQuotes. We're not going to shut MT4 down because half our revenue comes from it. But brokers now, specifically on prop, are adopting MT5 more than MT4. So I'm moving over to it, which means that when I program things, I only do it once. Yes, it's a little bit more difficult to program for. It's a little bit more buggy, or it was. I don't know if it still is. We'll find out. But yeah, I've got to bite the bullet at some point. So I've been thinking long and hard about it. And because I'm developing all these tools now, so anybody that joins as a member will get access to all the EAs as well, included in the membership. I basically need to cut down my development time because I'm going to be building a lot more stuff. And I can't build it twice. It literally takes twice as long to build everything, twice as long to support everything, twice as long to bug fix everything, twice as long to license everything. So I thought now is probably the time to do it. And I've been keeping an eye on the bug reports on MT5 over the last year. And there's only been one major bug introduced in the last 12 months for MT5, as opposed to previous years where it was almost every month they'd break it. So I think they've got the platform to a point now where they are able to keep it stable. So it's a little bit like Windows, yeah? When the first adopters of Windows, so like Windows 15 comes out, whatever number you get up to, the people that jump on that on day one, they're going to have a lot of problems. Yeah, the people that jump on it 6 months later won't have a problem at all because it's all ironed out, isn't it? MetaQuotes have taken a hell of a long time to iron out the bugs, but they're kind of there, I think, now. So we'll see. I've got to reprogram some of my indicators because the support resistance propulsion indicator is awful in MT5. So I've got to recode that to work in a different way, I think. Christ, this is going to be a massive lost day today. Cannot get this. It's going to move my stop just back up above propulsion. We've got propulsion gap forming here. It's going to be one of those days today, so I'm not going to push it. Yeah, there you go. I'm making the leap. I just like the MT5 uses up to double the memory. Yep. It is massively memory hungry. You have got to be kidding me. What is the NASDAQ doing today? Look at it. Taking everybody's money. There we go. Stopped out, NASDAQ. I'm either going short. I'm not getting involved anymore. That thing's basically death today. So either breaks that or breaks that. That's my last trade of the day on NASDAQ. Gold, I'm going to stop out and flip long by the looks of things. Dow's pushing back up now as well. Aussie New Zealand coming down nicely. So there's the rejection out of the triple top high. So looking for this basically to be the rejection to pull back into propulsion. Bit of a gap down there as well. Look. Stopped out on gold. Are we going long? Are we actually going to be able to break today? Doesn't look like it at the moment. Could you remind me why you stopped using the COT report as a directional bias? Because it had no bearing, basically, in modern times. It just doesn't work now. The bias since COVID, the bias has been, the bias changes like that with the COT. It doesn't really, the non-commercial directional bias of the futures markets now is not what it used to be. It's not anywhere near as effective as it was. It was always a long-term, really top-down view of the market. It is always delayed by 2 weeks as well, which is the other downside to it. But as soon as we started that interest rate drop and interest rate hike, COT basically fell in line with that. So we know what's going on with the COT positioning. It's whichever the forecast is on interest rates. So it just didn't have as much bearing, I don't think, because it was part of the fundamental scorecard. And I did actually rebuild the fundamental scorecard here. Still says it, still loading fundamental scorecard. But the problem with it now is I don't think in a Trump era, with what's going on with these trade wars and these decisions that get made by Trump, and the fallout we've got from COVID, I don't think it's got as much bias. What we've seen is an interest rate rally from zero to an interest rate drop, which is trying to get us back to where we were pre-COVID. Yeah, so this is 5 years of absolute predictability on interest rates. We knew they were all coming down. So I don't know. I just don't think it's got as much weight as it used to. Retail sentiment has got more weight than COT at the moment. Short term, this is, I think, much more important at the moment. It may well change though. NASDAQ can't get out of these highs. So gold potentially just to pull back. And we're going long. But no more trades long on the NASDAQ today for the ORB. It could get a short on. That's completely blown my day, look. I went from a $600 day to a $99 loss. We'll see if we can get that back on one trade. Afternoon, Pot DJ. How are we doing? Okay, long gold. Okay, gold's out into new highs. So we're attempting new highs on gold. So this is this breakout we looked at on Monday. So broken the, I don't know if that's all-time highs or all-time highs. So watch, obviously when we start getting up to ADR, just watch for signs of weakness. Oh, did you feel that? Did you see that? And I don't know if you saw in the stream then, everything just went dark in here. That's basically us going from, hi, we're really sunny to we're going to have a hurricane. Weather's absolutely mental at the moment. Okay, so nice breakout on gold underway. So I will let you know when I'm going to start doing the new members sessions. Basically, what I've got to do, I've got to finish off that to get the ADR dash in there. We've got all the RSI dashboards built. So there's multiple RSI dashboards for each time frame to do with power or time frame. You can build your own as well. You can build your own dashboards, custom, with stochastics, MACDs, RSIs, Bollinger Bands, whatever you want, really. I need to get the ADR dashboard built in here. So we'll be able to use this as a single source rather than being platform reliant. We can use this for ADR, ATR, and RSI. I've got to fix the bug, which is fixed here. That's all fixed. I haven't even got to fix that now. That's brilliant. And then that's it. So basically what my next steps are is to get the members stream education that I've done on YouTube all into here. And then I will have the lesson plans all out for, and the streaming plans all put in place in here as well. So you'll be able to see what I'm going to stream, when I'm going to stream it, and all the different strategies basically that I'm going to teach in here, really, or portrayed in here. And then you can obviously learn them and do what you like with them. So yeah, that's the next step. So that's probably going to take me probably a week to get that finished. So I'm hoping to go sort of live with the new membership system mid-September. But obviously I'll still be trading ORB and everything as normal. I just will be doing it mainly with members and a couple of times a week on YouTube. So pulling back on gold, typical now the Nasdaq's broken out. So long Nas. So upside target on the Nasdaq is this propulsion gap here. So that high basically. So I've got to watch this area here. Watch that high there. That will be the upside resistance. Quite a long way to go to get there, but as you can see, we can do that very easily if we can get a rally on. Got to break out yet. Can't even do that yet, can we? Shocking markets. Dow and S&P. Dow I'm trading, yeah. This is the Dow. Already TP'd on the Dow today. I'm not trading the S&P because it's correlated with the Nasdaq. It's too correlated with the Nasdaq. So I'm giving gold a crack basically because it seems to work pretty well. It's one of those instruments. The back testing that I've done on it is hit and miss. It was hit and miss with all the instruments, but the thing with gold is you'd get these big ones. So you get these days with gold where it just suddenly takes off and you just fly, basically. So it's these are the days where it just goes and it kills it. Yeah. You get a lot of days which have normal, these are what I would class as normal type ORB trades. And then you get lovely parabolic ones. So these actually pay for the slightly smaller, slower ones. So it's a little bit like the FTSE in that respect, where you get a big, strong move at the open and then it kind of sits around for a bit. Gold kind of does that a lot of the time as well. The other reason I like this is when you get news, it really reacts to news. So any US dollar news, basically, because let's face it, all we're doing here is we're trading a US dollar cross. So you get very big, strong movement on news. So if you're in an ORB already before news hits 3 o'clock and that news goes in the direction of the initial break, you get a massive move and a massive day. So it's really good in that respect that it gets a lot of movement off of the news. Rejecting the propulsion gap on the Dow. Mind you, it's not actually a propulsion gap, is it? Very, very tiny propulsion gap. Not even got to it yet, actually. So forget that. It's just a new leg down, which again doesn't bode well for the NASDAQ. It's going to be a whipsaw day today. I got the feeling, you just get a feeling when it's not going to work. I just got a feeling it's going to be one of these days. It's either rejecting and we're going to do that. So we've got divergence basically at the moment. One of these is going to win. Which one is it? Let's see where we go. That's all I've got for you this afternoon, really. I'll be back on Friday morning and Friday afternoon as usual. We'll trade the DAX and the indices, see where we go. Friday is my first payday on this funded account. So I've got to wait for Friday to close out. So I'll be able to figure out whether or not I get paid from these guys. I can't even remember the name of them. I keep forgetting their name. Trading funds. That's it. These guys. So these are the guys that I'm trading with at the moment. So they're a CFD broker rather than futures. So not massive leverage, but yeah, the only reason I thought I'll try them out is because they've got this cool thing called a flex challenge, which you pay $9 for an evaluation. So of course I did that and passed straight away, and they said, that's excellent, well done, congratulations, give us 450 quid and you can have an account. So it's actually a hook to get you in, basically. And then you have to pay $441 to get the account. So it just basically, it's a free evaluation at the end of the day. That's the only reason I did it. And obviously, sod's law, I passed it. So I've never used them before. I've never been paid by them before. I've been paid by Top Step, by loads of others, but I've never been paid by these guys. So they have a 2-week payout policy. And I started on the 22nd. So this Friday is 2 weeks. So when I close out on Friday, I'll be able to get the profit split, which unfortunately is only 60% because I've done this silly flex challenge thing. It's 90% if you do a normal evaluation. But when you get paid and you pass levels, that goes up to 90 eventually. But they've also got a consistency rule in there as well. So I'll have to see if I've passed that. I don't even know what that 20% means. I'm assuming 20% of your profit in one day. We'll find out. Okay, NASDAQ pushing on highs again. So it looks like we are attempting a breakout. Gold pulling back inside range. Gold's going to be pain in the backside today as well by those things. So that actually was the right decision on the Dow today. My exit. So glad I got out of that short. NASDAQ's approaching high of the day. Trying to. We can get close above that high. We've got 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. If we can close above that high, we should get enough interest to get a run going. And then we're going to be watching this area here. So Just going to watch that for a potential bounce, but looking basically targets there. That's my TP. For rejection out of those areas there. If we break though, we still haven't got short, got long. Struggling up here. One minute to go. There we go, broken out the highs. I just want to check this candle update. So that's 1730. So I want to see this update in 40 seconds to the 1730 candle. Bear with me. This is bug testing. Live bug testing. So when that countdown finishes, we should have received the data feed from the terminal. This is all fed from MT5, basically. I just want to make sure that updates the latest 5-minute candles. Didn't get a chance to test this morning. Oh, it's exciting. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Update. Yes, look at that. It all works. Cool. Okay, out into new highs. So upsides, watch these levels here. It's 468.5, 515, 565 upside resistance. So this is your close from Monday. Still haven't set my templates up properly yet. So that's Monday's close, basically. So potentially we might find resistance at that point. Then we've got an interim resistance and target at the top of propulsion. Upside targets. So that's what I'm going to play today. See if I can get that back up to the top. And that will get me back to break even for the morning, for the day, really. So whippy session today. Afternoon watch check. How are we doing? I'm kind of liking NT5, I have to admit. Since I've been using it for the last 2 weeks, it's kind of starting to grow on me a little bit. I don't know why, but I think it's just becoming normal. I think that's all it is. But it's working as well, which is the other thing that's nice. I was expecting it to just fail and everything to break, but it's not. So I have got to recode the SRP indicator, though, because that is shocking in MT5. I've got to completely redo the way that draws. Doesn't draw properly because the graphical user interface in MT5 is just way more resource heavy, unfortunately. And it uses quite a lot more resources than MT4. Okay, so we're just topping out at yesterday's high. So that is the Tuesday higher day, Globex. So this whole area here, where we closed out on Monday and the Globex high from Tuesday, is potentially, obviously, resistive because we weren't able to close above that level and we weren't able to break back above that level on the following day. So we know there are sellers in this area here. Obviously, you can see them stepping in now. So we need to see whether or not we've got more buyers than sellers at this point. And if we break through that level, we should be able to flush straight through into 515. And then obviously off and away from there. See how we go. I'll leave you with that. So I'm back on Friday, and we'll obviously do the usual stuff. Anything you've got suggestion-wise for streams, for member streams and things, obviously, let me know in Discord. I'm still putting together the plan for for the education content. I know a lot of it we're going to be covering ORB in a lot of detail. We're going to be doing the position trading bootcamp again. We're going to be covering arbitrage, correlation trading as well. So those are the main 3 strategies. And also anything else basically that people want to know. So if there's any sort of basics, if you like, that you think I'd like a session on, let me know. But I'm putting the plan together and I will publish that, obviously. So it may well be included in there as well. We're going to have a lot of beginner stuff in there as well, because a lot of people are less than 1 year's experience in trading. So there's going to be a lot of basic stuff which I'm getting asked an awful lot, like what's leverage, how do brokers work, that type of thing. And if you've never learnt it, never been taught it, you wouldn't know. So it's important that you understand how this all works. So that's all going to be covered in kind of a one session, a quick A to Z of everything you need to know about trading type thing. So hopefully that will be of interest to everybody, because there's a lot of stuff I think people that have been trading for 3 or 4 years still don't know about brokers. Just coming up to resistance. So watch that level. We are breaking through, so it looks good. Right, so I'll be back on Friday. Anything you need until then, let me know. I'll be in Discord and Telegram. I'll be working on the website and stuff. And obviously, I've got the new bundle as well. If anybody's interested, there is this new bundle available on the website where you get 50% off all of the EAs. So if you want to get more than one, obviously, you can now get them all at 50% off. So that was introduced last week. A couple of people have taken advantage of it, but it is there if you want it. If you haven't got the whole lot and you want them and you want to test them out and play with them, that's fine. But yeah, so I'll be back on Friday. Anything you need, let me know. Other than that, have a good day and I will see you then.